The first secret, now it's not a secret. Should I keep it a secret? No, I'm gonna say it. So this is no longer a secret. This is just a thing out there in the universe. I'm losing some of my competitive advantage right now explaining and sharing the secrets, but you're getting this, so are you ready? The first secret, I feel like I should be whispering. The first secret. No. The first secret that I want to share with you is that it's a light's relative size that affects how harsh the shadows are. So a small light creates harsh shadows. A large light creates soft shadows. So if you're using a light bulb or a pop-up flash, that's going to create a harsh shadow on your subject. If you use a really big light source like a huge window or the open sky, then you're going to get soft shadows. I found that most people want soft shadows. Harsh shadows on someone's face makes their face all wrinkly and you can see every crease and line and their little pores. Most people don't like that. Unless you're like a bodybuilder like me, then you might want small lights that create harsh shadows. But most people want soft shadows. They want all the blemishes and flaws in their face to not be emphasized. So most of the time when I'm creating portraits, I'm looking for large light sources so I can create soft shadows. Secret number 2 is you have to step away from the light source to see highlights and shadows. Highlights and shadows give your picture depth and dimension, and that's a good thing for portraits. I'm doing it right now with how these lights are set up. I've set these up so that you can see highlights and shadows. It gives me more dimension, and I can use all the dimension I can get. But anyway, you as the photographer, if the light's coming from this direction, you got to step away from that light so that you can see highlights and shadows. If you're by the light, you can't see it. Let's imagine that you're in a room that has an opening, like a doorway or window or whatever, and you're there with your subject and you're shooting the same direction that the light is coming from. This is going to create a situation where the light is flat. That is because if you think about it, the shadows are falling on the back side of her, so I can't see them because they're on the other side. But if I move away from the light, if I step away from the light source, now I'm in a position to see highlights and shadows. The only way for you to see highlights and shadows is for you to be separate from the light source. Here's a comparison between a flat image and one that has highlights and shadows. I prefer the highlights and shadows. Flat is not a good adjective when it comes to talking about a portrait. You want depth and dimension, you want highlights and shadows, and I call those highlights and shadows ratio. If there's a lighting ratio, then that means you have highlights and shadows. The third secret is your ability to see light differences is what will make you versatile as a photographer. Versatile or versatile, you'll be both if you can see light differences. Here I am in a park and I've positioned her in this area where there's a bunch of shade, and the difference between that shaded area and the rest of the world is an area where I can get a light difference and create a beautiful portrait. Here I am in a city street next to this FedEx truck, but fortunately the sun is reflecting off of that truck and it's creating a light difference. Here I'm indoors next to a window, and the difference between the interior and the exterior through that window is it's creating a light difference. This one's a little trickier to see, but that circular shadow on the ground is caused from the tree, and she's placed right on the edge of that shadow, and it creates a light difference, which ends up creating this beautiful portrait with lots of dimension. He's in between a courtyard and more of a garage tunnel sort of thing. And the difference between that lit courtyard and the shaded tunnel, that light difference creates highlights and shadows. And so if I put him right in the right spot, I get a beautiful portrait. Here she is in an alleyway, and the sun bouncing off of that building is creating a light difference. Here we are in a parking garage and a doorway to the outside, and there's more light outside than there is inside the parking garage, and that light difference creates a situation where we can create ratio. Being able to see light differences in your environment is a practice skill. It's just like anything, like any fundamental, like dribbling a basketball or typing or whatever. It's something that through repetition, you get an ability to be able to recognize light differences and take advantage of those just about anywhere. And you'll be able to create portraits with depth and dimension, with highlights and shadows in any situation. My fourth secret is that you can use the subject's no shadow to help you adjust your subject so the lighting is perfect. Think of the no shadow as the sundial of your subject's face. So if the no shadow doesn't exist, then you know your light is flat. If your no shadow comes down straight ahead and downward, you've got butterfly light. If it connects over here to this cheek shadow, but there's still a triangle of light, you've got Rembrandt light. If the no shadow creates a short little loop downward and to the side, you've got short light. If the no shadow goes upward, then you know the light is too low. If the no shadow connects with the lips, then you know your light is too high. I make adjustments to my pose based solely on the shape and direction of the no shadow. I don't take a picture until I assess what the no shadow is doing. Use it as your guide. Those are my 4 secrets that aren't secrets anymore to using natural light. In the natural light course, I've got 30 lessons that completely cover this subject. You'll be able to see the 30 different topics for the natural light course through a link at the end of this webinar. I've thoroughly covered the topic of natural light. I'll show you how to use sunlight correctly. You'll be able to shoot in overcast or cloudy days. You'll have no problem shooting indoors, and you'll even be able to shoot at nighttime outside. Each lesson includes 3 parts: written documentation with illustration, video, and quizzes to help you know if you're learning or not. You'll also be able to join my Facebook group where I'll give you additional instruction and little tidbits and pieces of wisdom photographically and otherwise. You can post your pictures and I'll give you feedback. After training as many photographers as I have, I'm very good at giving creative criticism, constructive criticism, whatever it's called, I'll give it to you. You'll get more constructive criticism than you know what to do with. I started the FotoMethod course with natural light because I feel like it's your ability to use light that controls the type of and quality of image that you're able to create. Your ability to manipulate light is what will make your images look professional. In addition to the natural light course, in the coming months, I'll also be offering camera fundamentals, creating beautiful portraits with your phone, using speed lights, adult posing and family posing, creative composition, controlling children, newborns, starting a business. I'll also show you my Lightroom workflow and how to edit in Photoshop. Since I am just launching FotoMethod, I'm offering founding memberships for $11.99. You can sign up through the website. As a founding member, you'll get lifetime access to all future online training from me. And if you use the code FMWebinar, I'll give you an additional $200 off, so you're only paying $9.99. I hope you sign up for that. I want us to have a long-term relationship. I want to guide you in your journey to becoming an amazing photographer. To sign up for a founding membership, just scroll down to that part of the website. Again, enter the code FMWebinar to receive another $200 off the price and pay only $999 for your lifetime membership. And until next time, practice.